After swapping bodies with my husband, I think I'm starting to enjoy being a man. The night before divorce, Jack begged me for one last night together. I agreed. What followed was a night of passion. But the next morning, when I looked down and saw the extra flesh between my legs, I screamed, Jack Bennett, we're screwed. Somehow our souls had switched bodies. At that moment, Jack, now in my body, was staring at me with lust-filled eyes. It's okay, he said casually. Worst case, we can do it again. Maybe that'll switch us back. The nerve of him. He had already left bruises all over my body last night, and now he had the audacity to suggest doing it again? Besides, this was my first time being a man. I had no idea how to even get the job done. Furious, I got out of bed and slapped myself hard. Twice. It hurt. This wasn't a dream. Arya, why don't we call off the divorce? Jack asked cautiously. No way. I snapped. You're dead to me. I don't want a cheating man. After getting dressed, I stormed into the living room. Jack's mother glanced at me, then nodded toward the bedroom. Still sleeping in? Honestly, it's the last day anyway. This divorce is for the best. I'll find you a better girl. Our marriage falling apart had a lot to do with her constant meddling. I shot back irritably. Let her sleep. What does she even have to do? Are you paying her? I had always been respectful toward my mother-in-law. I never imagined she had been badmouthing me behind my back all this time. Mrs. Bennett's face darkened. She jabbed my arm. What's gotten into you today? The girl I found for you is 100 times better than her. Don't be upset. Out with the old, in with the new. Just then, Jack shuffled out in slippers. It was my first time seeing myself from someone else's perspective. I had to admit, my face looked quite alluring from this angle. Shameless hussy, my mother-in-law muttered under her breath. Mom, is breakfast ready? We've got things to do after eating, Jack said, plopping down in his usual seat like nothing had happened. That set Mrs. Bennett off. She marched over, hands on her hips. Arya, get up. Is that your seat? You useless woman. The Bennett family must have sinned in a past life to end up with you. No breakfast for you today. So this was it. She had always schemed against me, but at least she used to pretend to be polite. Now she was openly insulting me. Jack looked stunned by his mother's outburst. Mom, no matter what, I'm still your he paused, correcting himself awkwardly. Your daughter-in-law. That's going too far. Arya, come here. I'll feed you, I said, beckoning to him. He hesitated for a moment, then shot his mother a glare before walking over. Mrs. Bennett didn't dare stop me. She huffed. You're getting divorced today. Why are you still coddling her? I'm telling you, Jack. You're too soft. Mom, either eat or go out, I said coldly, pointing at the door. I don't want to hear your nagging. Go gossip with Mrs. Johnson next door. Mrs. Bennett cursed me for being ungrateful, but eventually stormed out. Jack sat down quietly, not knowing what to say. I fed him breakfast. This wasn't some sweet couple's moment. He was using my body now, so I had to take care of myself. We arrived at the registry office. The clerk handed each of us a form to fill out. Suddenly, Jack dropped to his knees, clutching my sleeve as tears streamed down my face. Honey, I was wrong. Please give me a chance to explain. Let's start over. Our souls and bodies are so perfectly matched. Why do you still want a divorce? Please don't leave me, honey. Back in college, I had been the campus beauty queen. This face, my face, was devastatingly effective when it came to crying. A few men nearby couldn't stand the scene and came over to intervene. Hey man, your wife is so beautiful, and she's apologizing. Just forgive her. Yeah, if my wife looked like that, I wouldn't divorce her even if she cheated. Come on, beautiful. Your husband's clearly softening. Just go home together. I wasn't softening. I was mortified. With him saying all that using my face, it made it look like I was the one at fault. Without another word, I stood up and stormed out of the registry office. Jack, what the hell are you doing? I hissed. We agreed on the divorce. Jack sniffled. I never agreed. Besides, we can't just divorce like this now, can we? As he spoke, he shamelessly grabbed his chest. He had a point. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life stuck in this jerk's body either. After a moment, Jack stepped closer, placing a delicate hand on my belt. Why don't we try again? Maybe it'll work this time. Then we can divorce after, okay? I shoved him away. No way, but that night, I ate my words. When we got home, Mrs. Bennett saw us return together and immediately frowned. Why are you back? She snapped. Jack smiled sheepishly, tugging on her arm. Mom, Jack's not divorcing me anymore. Looks like you're stuck with me. Mrs. Bennett nearly choked. After coughing for a while, she pointed angrily at me. Son, have you no backbone? She's the one who wanted the divorce. Now she changes her mind and you just go along with it? How did I raise such a spineless son? I walked over and casually wrapped an arm around Jack's shoulders. Mom, I'll have Mrs. Johnson's son drive you back to the countryside tomorrow. Go keep Dad company. Let us newlyweds have some time alone. Jack looked up at me, eyes still slightly red. After a lot of persuasion from both of us, Mrs. Bennett reluctantly packed her bags and agreed to leave. That night, Jack dragged me into the bathroom for a bubble bath, even showing me how to properly take care of his body. I realized there were quite a few things men had to pay attention to, but I hadn't forgiven him. I was only doing this to figure out how to get the job done. Once we switched back, everything would go back to normal. Or so I hoped. Later, Jack even put on the lingerie he had bought for me years ago. Honey, he murmured, biting his lip and looking at me seductively. I felt a wave of discomfort. Wasn't this basically me facing myself? That mental barrier was hard to overcome. But Jack didn't hesitate. He took my hand and guided it, just like before. I barely had to do anything, just follow along, caught in the unfamiliar sensations. The next morning, I woke up feeling sore and disoriented. I jolted upright in panic. Damn it. I was still in Jack's body. Jack stirred beside me, barely opening his eyes. Didn't switch back? We'll try harder next time. Next time my ass. I smacked his back, leaving a faint red mark. He simply rolled over lazily. I quickly looked away, trying to calm myself. Don't say nonsense. Get up, I snapped. You took yesterday off. Are you skipping work again today? Jack stretched casually, completely unconcerned. Only then did it hit me. I wasn't Arya anymore. I was Jack, which meant I had to go to work. Jack was the company's general manager. Meanwhile, I had been a stay-at-home wife ever since marrying him. If I didn't go to work, he might get fired, and then we'd both be in trouble. Jack smirked, clearly enjoying my panic. How about this, he said. Wear a Bluetooth earpiece. I'll guide you through everything. I nodded immediately. That was the only option. So I put on a suit and tie and headed out. Before I left, Jack leaned in and gave me a lingering kiss. Don't mess up at work, he teased softly. And don't forget, we still need more practice tonight. I looked at my own face, smiling at me. If I didn't want to stay stuck like this forever, I had no choice but to nod. As I entered the company, I followed Jack's instructions and took the executive elevator. But the moment the doors closed, I saw the last person I wanted to see, Vanessa Moore, that homewrecker. I had seen the half-naked photos she had sent to Jack, lying on a hotel bed, barely covered, with the caption, "Waiting for you." Back then, I had exploded in anger. But Jack insisted it was all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? If nothing had happened, how could she misunderstand things to the point of sending those kinds of photos? Thinking about it now made my teeth grind with anger. Through the earpiece, Jack asked, "What's wrong?" Suppressing my emotions, I greeted her first. "You're here early." I had to take the initiative or I might expose myself. Vanessa looked pleasantly surprised. Her eyes immediately filled with tears. "Mr. Bennett, why didn't you come that day?" Jack's voice came urgently through the earpiece. "Arya, don't listen to her nonsense. I barely know her." I scoffed. "Sorry, I'm not interested in fake charm." Jack chuckled quietly at my remark. Vanessa covered her mouth and began to cry softly. "Mr. Bennett, I just wanted to thank you for taking the blame for me. How could you treat me like this?" Her voice was soft and pitiful. "A real actress." Jack quickly explained, "Oh, that's what she means. 2 weeks ago, she lost an important company document worth millions. I recreated it for her. I have a photographic memory, remember?" He sounded oddly proud. But to me, it just sounded like he was being overly attentive to another woman. "Look, there's no need to thank me," I said coldly. "And don't send photos like that again. They caused unnecessary misunderstandings." Just as the elevator doors opened, I stepped out, leaving Vanessa behind. I had barely sat down in the office when someone knocked on the door. A young woman in her early 20s walked in, smiling sweetly. She wore a fitted strapless dress and carried a cup of tea. "Jack, this is a special tea from my hometown. I just got it yesterday and brewed some for you." "Jack," I repeated, frowning. That sounded far too intimate. Jack's voice quickly came through the earpiece again. "She's my junior from college. Our professor asked me to guide her." "Humph, what a player." "What's wrong, Jack?" "You don't look well," she said gently, stepping closer. She raised her hand, about to touch my face. I immediately pushed her away. "Watch yourself." Her expression froze. She stepped back, flustered. I'm sorry." Then she hesitated before adding, "Oh, Vanessa asked me to pass along a message. She wants to meet you at the Blue City Hotel during lunch. She said it's important." With that, she quickly left. After the door closed, I asked, "Blue City Hotel? Isn't that place notorious? Didn't it get raided before?" Jack fell silent for a moment before replying. "You're right. I don't think I should go. She clearly has ulterior motives." I let out a cold laugh. "Oh, if you won't go, then I definitely will." This was the perfect chance to find out the truth. No matter what Jack said, I wasn't going to blindly believe him anymore. In the end, he couldn't stop me. He just said he'd stay connected through the earpiece. I smiled, but said nothing. The Blue City Hotel lived up to its name. Everything was decorated in shades of green. Even the statue in the lobby looked oddly tinted. What a place, I thought. Feels like the perfect setting for betrayal. As soon as I stepped inside, the manager approached me respectfully. "Mr. Bennett, Miss Moore is waiting for you in the presidential suite on the top floor." Presidential suite? Was she trying to trap him? I headed straight up. To my surprise, the suite door was already open. Rose petals were scattered across the floor, leading inside. My expression darkened. Jack still dared to claim there was nothing between them? I cut off the call and stormed in. The room was filled with scented candles and soft, suggestive music. Following the trail of petals, I reached the bathroom. The space was dimly lit, tinted in deep red tones. In the center was a large bathtub. Vanessa was inside. When she saw me, she smiled faintly. "You're eager, you didn't even knock." I turned away immediately, discomfort rising in my chest. "What did you want to talk about?" I asked sharply. I heard the sound of water behind me, then footsteps. Before I could react, she came up behind me. I stiffened. "Mr. Bennett," she murmured softly. "Just once. I won't cling to you after this. We can still be good partners at work." Her hands moved toward my waist. "Stop." I snapped. She didn't listen. Annoyed, I pushed her away. She lost her balance and fell back into the tub with a loud splash. I quickly adjusted my clothes and glared at her. "Do you have no shame? I'm married. My wife is beautiful and more than enough for me. You should know your place." Vanessa looked shaken, her hair damp, rose petals clinging to her face. She looked fragile, almost pitiful. If Jack were really here, he might not have been able to resist. Just as that thought crossed my mind, my body suddenly reacted in a way I couldn't control. My legs weakened slightly, and for the first time, I realized just how dangerous the situation really was. Damn it, stupid man's body. Can't even handle a little seduction? I cursed under my breath, frustrated by the uncontrollable reaction. Vanessa only smiled, slowly plucking the rose petals from her face. Then she walked toward me, her hips swaying deliberately. Her figure made my pulse race even faster. "What's wrong, Mr. Bennett?" she asked softly. "Not feeling well? Let me help you to the bed." She stepped closer, her smooth skin brushing against my hand. A shiver ran through my body. "This is bad. Don't tell me I'm actually reacting to this." Vanessa seemed pleased by my flustered expression. She leaned closer, her lips near my ear, her voice soft and teasing. "Mr. Bennett, how do you like the incense I prepared?" So that was it. She had used something to lower my defenses. No wonder my body felt so weak. "You're disgusting." I tried to snap back, but it came out weak, almost breathless. Vanessa only smiled wider. "There's no man I can't win over, Mr. Bennett. You won't be the exception." My legs gave out, and I instinctively leaned against her. My breathing had grown uneven. Was I really about to lose control like this? The next moment I stumbled, and she pushed me back onto the bed. The silky sheets felt cool beneath me, only deepening my regret. I shouldn't have come. I should have listened to Jack. I definitely shouldn't have cut off the call. Now, I was completely alone. A wave of panic hit me, and before I knew it, tears began to fall. Vanessa laughed softly as she leaned over me, reaching for my shirt. Mr. Bennett, are you crying? Anyone would cry in this situation. I shot back, forcing strength into my voice. You make me sick. She only laughed louder. You think that'll make me stop? I tried to push her away, but my strength was fading fast. She caught my wrists easily, pinning them down. I struggled, but it was useless. My head spun. My body refused to cooperate. For the first time, I felt truly powerless. Disgust, anger, and fear tangled together inside me. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to block everything out. But then, a strong scent hit my nose. My eyes snapped open. Vanessa was leaning closer, eyes half closed, about to kiss me. That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned my head and threw up, hitting Vanessa's red lips dead on. Vanessa shrieked, frantically wiping her face. Ah, gross. Disgusting. Ah. She screamed as she jumped off me and ran into the bathroom. I felt pretty gross too, but after throwing up, my body felt much better. My mind cleared a little. Ding dong. Just then, the elevator to the presidential suite opened. Who could it be? This floor wasn't open to just anyone. Struggling, I pushed myself up on the bed and saw Jack rushing in, out of breath. When he saw me half-dressed, he froze, then dropped to the floor. You finished already? He asked. Then, noticing the mess on me, he frowned in disgust. Did she make you sick? I grabbed a pillow and hurled it at him. Get lost. Jack laughed and dodged it, turning toward the bathroom. No. Vanessa's naked in there. I shouted. He pointed at his body and grinned. It's fine. I'm a woman now. Moments later, shouting erupted from the bathroom. You shameless woman. How dare you seduce my husband? Go to hell. You're the one who can't have children. Mrs. Bennett told me to do this. If you have a problem, take it up with her. You dare insult my mother? Then came the sound of splashing water. From what Vanessa said, it seemed my mother-in-law had been behind everything. This was getting interesting. Jack soon dragged out a drenched and disheveled Vanessa. Honey, what should we do with her? He asked. Ignoring them, I wiped myself off with the bedsheet and went to take a shower. When I came out, Vanessa was already dressed. And Mrs. Bennett had arrived. Wasn't she supposed to be back in her hometown? Mom, I said, even though I knew she was likely behind this. I still had to address her that way in Jack's body. Mrs. Bennett glared at Jack with a twisted expression. Arya, you're getting divorced. Why are you interfering in my son's affairs? He just wants to give the Bennett family an heir. So it was true. She had really instructed Vanessa to seduce her own son. After his mother finally left, Jack suddenly dropped to his knees in front of me. Honey, do you believe me now? I told you I had nothing to do with that woman. My mom is just confused. Always trying to play matchmaker. Now it made sense. That photo had been sent at the perfect moment, right when I happened to be holding his phone. Mrs. Bennett had been determined to break us apart all along. After all, she had never approved of me, a woman she saw as disobedient and unable to bear children. I helped Jack to his feet. All right, I said. I was wrong to doubt you this time. In truth, if I hadn't threatened drastic measures, Jack would never have agreed to the divorce. His eyes lit up instantly. So, no more divorce? He asked hopefully. I nodded. But what about our current situation? Jack smiled faintly. Honestly, it's not so bad. There was something dangerous in his gaze. Before I could respond, I pulled him closer by the shoulders and kissed him. Mrs. Bennett, who hadn't gone far, nearly fainted from anger when she saw it. Vanessa supported her as she snapped. Take me home. I'm done with this unfilial son. I replied calmly. Respect goes both ways. If you're not kind, how can you expect me to be filial? Mrs. Bennett was speechless. She staggered out with Vanessa. Once they were gone, Jack knelt before me again. Honey, do you believe me now? I really had nothing to do with her. I sighed softly. Yes. I understand now. He stood up, eyes shining. So no divorce? No divorce, I confirmed. But we still need to fix this body swapping problem. Jack leaned closer, his expression turning playful. Maybe we just need more communication. Before I could react, his lips met mine. My mind went blank as he took the lead. In the middle of everything, I suddenly felt something shift. A familiar sensation. I looked down and froze. I was back. Joy surged through me. It worked. Jack noticed too, laughing breathlessly. Seems like we found the method. We lost track of time in that suite. By the time I woke up the next day, my entire body ached. But the moment I looked down, my heart dropped. We had switched again. Jack was lying comfortably against my chest, completely at ease. Jack, wake up. We switched again. He opened his eyes, surprisingly calm. It's okay, he said. We switched back once yesterday. That means we just need to keep trying. I stared at him, exhausted. In the end, I could only sigh and get up to wash and get dressed for work. I'll go with you today, Jack said, following me. He followed me to the company, causing quite a stir. Look, is that woman with Mr. Bennett his mistress? Definitely a mistress. His wife can't be that hot. Yeah, look at those curves. I wonder how many men she's been with. I listened coldly, but Jack suddenly grabbed my hand and turned to the gossiping women, wearing my face. I'm Jack Bennett's wife, he declared sharply. Even if I lost everything, I'd still be 100 times better than you. Watch your words before they come back to bite you. And for your information, everything about me is completely natural. Even with surgery, you could never compare. With that, Jack pulled me into the elevator. I looked at him strangely, feeling like his personality was becoming more and more like mine. I had always been the outspoken, quick-tempered one. Meanwhile, I was starting to act more like him, calm, reserved, expressionless. Had our personalities begun to blend after switching bodies for so long? Honey, I'm sorry, Jack said seriously. I've been too busy and ignored your feelings. I didn't realize my mom was giving you so much trouble even trying to break us apart. He paused, then added softly, I never knew being a beautiful woman came with so many problems. I shook my head with a faint smile. From what I see, you're the one with too many admirers. Just then, the elevator doors opened. The girl from yesterday was standing outside. Jack. Oh, who's this? She asked. I straightened slightly and said clearly, I'm Jack's wife. She smiled awkwardly and quickly excused herself, saying she'd go make tea. Jack boldly pulled me into the office. Once inside, he started complaining. Why wasn't I more jealous? Why had Vanessa been able to get so close to me yesterday? Why didn't I question him more? Didn't I love him anymore? I simply shook my head, smiling faintly, telling him it wasn't necessary. But suddenly, Jack lifted his skirt. I froze and glanced around in shock, only to realize the office had privacy glass. No one could see inside. Are you crazy? I snapped. This is my body. I'm not letting you embarrass me. I quickly pulled his skirt down and punched him lightly. To my surprise, Jack actually started crying, and it wasn't a pretty sight. I knew it, you've changed, he said tearfully. You don't care about me anymore. Before I could respond, he grabbed my hands and pulled me closer. He moved quickly, leaving me no time to react. I had no choice but to hold him as he pressed against me, backing me toward the floor-to-ceiling window. Close your eyes, he whispered. Feel it just like before. Reluctantly, I did as he said. A strange sensation spread through my body. Then, something shifted. The feeling of holding him changed. The pressure against my back became sharper. It felt different. Wrong. My eyes flew open. I was the one pinned against the glass now. Jack stood in front of me, watching with a playful, satisfied smile. We had switched back again. To make sure we didn't switch again, we stayed like that for a long time. By the time he finally let me go, my legs were trembling. I even pinched myself hard to stay awake, afraid we might switch again if I fell asleep. Thankfully, we didn't. Jack pulled me into his arms, kissing me deeply. Honey, he murmured, don't ever mention divorce again. One divorce means we have to go through all of this again. And just like that, we were finally back in our own bodies. But then one night, Jack held me tightly, his body trembling slightly. After a moment, he reached into the bedside drawer and took something out. It looked like a belt with a strange attachment. I immediately understood. What? I said, raising an eyebrow. Missing those days already? Jack nodded, gently tapping my shoulder with a teasing smile. Naughty, I muttered under my breath.